What are some of the greatest challenges you face as a chief HR officer, and how did you overcome them?
Well, it's funny. The first thought I had on the answer to your question was when I wasn't a chief HR officer, but it was one of the most challenging moments of my career. And that was back in the late 90s when the company I was working for had lost market share to its biggest competitor. And basically, there was an edict that was put out that we needed to cut 25% of every budget, which meant a lot of headcount reductions. And I was fortunate that I was able to keep my job, but I also had the duty to go out and meet with 30 to 50 people who had just been fired to tell them about their benefits programs. And you can imagine that those people weren't very happy about hearing from someone who was still employed by the company. And so it was a very obviously angry audience who were very combative and challenging. And I didn't really know what to do. I mean, I was very intimidated. I was very new in my career at this time. But I remember saying to the group, I want you to know that you probably don't want to be hearing from me right now, but I have important information that you need to have in order to understand what your benefits are. And if you keep disrupting me, I can't give you that important information. And I just remember feeling this strong need to give them what they needed. But boy, that was scary. I mean, that was an intimidating, scary moment. But I think it informed me for things in the future about how to do things if we have to go through some downsizing, which most companies have to go through at some point in their corporate life. But I would say the other challenge, of course, and I think this is obvious, was during the time of COVID. And, being a CHRO during that time, I was very connected to many of my fellow CHROs as we tried to navigate the uncertainty and create as much clarity and support for our employee base as possible, because there was so much fear happening. And again, I think part of the reason why we navigated that so well was the network and connection that we had with other leaders going through similar things. But that was definitely a big challenge. And then the other challenge that stood out for me was actually during COVID, when I was working at Applied Materials, our customer demand was skyrocketing. So those were a couple of challenges, the challenge of the COVID and how to manage that. And then, of course, the ramp with so many new people coming in, and how do you bring them in and make them as successful and onboarded as quickly as possible.